All right. Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? I hope we are all doing fine. All right. This is Big Brother Nazmi. Today we'll be continuing from the class where we stopped. Yes, in our last class we talked about philosophy in education. Right. We tried to look at some of the branches, natures of philosophy of educations that are rooted in the branches of education, which we talk about the epistemology, the axiologies, and we talk about what we call the functions of philosophic. This is one of the function is that it helps us to what it guides us in terms of principles. For example, we can subscribe to pragmatisms, which might prioritize experiential learning, right? Which can pragmatize experiential learning, all right? So we see it helps in critical reflection. That means it helps us to test uh, the what we call scheme of work. It helps us to test, to assess our work, and it also helps us to design curriculum. So those are the functions of the philosophy of education. So in this week too, we're going to be looking at logical analysis. Our objective 2 is going to be logical analysis, interpretation, and synthesis of concepts. So actually, we're going to be emphasizing the development of critical thinking skills. Yes, these skills are essential for dissecting educational phenomena, right? Students are always expected to engage with these educational theories, which are the epistemology, the pragmatism, the axiology, right? And synthesize these informations meaningfully. Can you see? So we are going to start to look at the word logical analysis, what it means, right? Okay, logical analysis actually involves or entails scrutinizing argument. That means the process of scrutinizing arguments and you evaluate their validity. You look at an argument, you actually scrutinize, you verify, you check, right? In order to bring about what we call validity, right? In order to bring validity. So you will scrutinize and evaluate. Evaluate means check. Okay. For example, let's say when educators assess policy proposal to implement new curriculum, for example, when the assess policy proposal, for example, proposal is being given to educator to assess in order to implement or to bring about a new curricula. So the word they must check. Are you getting it? They must check or evaluate the reasoning behind the policy benefit. Are you getting it? Alright, they must check the reasoning behind the policy benefit, including evidence supporting the effectiveness of a new teaching methodology. So you see, you have to evaluate, check the evidence that will actually support the new teaching methodology. So logical analysis deals with scrutinizing. You scrutinize, you check in order to bring evidence or facts, right, behind the reason why something should be done in such a way. Okay. Case study example. Let's say analyzing the philosophical claims made by proponents of standardized testing. Can you see? It can actually help students identify underlying assumptions about intelligence, assessment, validity, and also educational equity. So actually, philosophical claims made by proponent can actually brings about a standardized testing that can help to assess students' intelligence. Very important. So interpretation of educational concept. What do we mean by interpretation of educational concepts? It actually involves understanding or knowing the significance of different educational theories. So the ability to know or to understand different educational theories uh, in various contexts. That is what we call interpretation of educational concept. So several significance of different educational theories in are operative today. Yes, several significance of educational theory are actually operative today. For example, we have the uh, constructivisms. Remember the constructivism, we say they understood to mean that learner construct knowledge through experience. So there are people that support experiential learning, right? You give a task to students and you tell them to what? To research uh, and carry out this research and bring discovery. So by interpreting constructivist principle now, for example, educators or instructor you might call can develop a strategy that foster collaborative and inquiring based learning. Are you seeing it? Which will actually lead the student to build their what? Their understanding through interaction. So this will help educators to actually form or foster collaborative and inquiring based learning. That actually in turn will give the student understanding through interactions, right? So number two theory, social learning theory as well. Now, in this theory, it posits to state that learning occurs through observation, right, or through observing others. You learn by observing others. This is very important. Um, now, especially students, like students within the age of 7 to 11, this actually it works in them very well because they tend to imitate what a teacher's is doing or does, right? So in the social learning theory actually state that learning occurs through observing others or through observation. Now, understanding in implications. Actually, educators or teachers can integrate role models. Are you getting it? And peers interactions in educational setting to enhance learning what outcomes. So they can integrate role models, people that have actually play or make an impact in a field, and also they can incorporate peer interaction, right? Bringing people together as this one is doing, another is learning, so that will bring about effective education. So now, what is synthesis of information? Synthesis of information actually entails combining different ideas, to synthesize, to combine different ideas and concepts to form cohesive educational perspective. So when you combine different ideas, what you have is what we call cohesive educational perspective. All right. So, for example, let's say consider the synthesis of critical pedagogue with elements of social constructivisms. Can you see now in the pedagogue? with social, when you match social and constructivisms, you see that you bring students together. As a result, in social learning theory, we say we learn by observation or observing others. So you see, constructivism, you give them a work to carry out, to research on. By so doing, you see that the student will learn through one another. So this is good example of synthesis in education, philosophy of education, right? So educators can actually what create inclusive curricula that emphasize both cultural relevance and knowledge construction through collaborative approaches addressing diverse learning need. Thus, actually, the ability to analyze, interpret, and also synthesize information is crucial for educators. So the ability to analyze, interpret, scrutinize is actually scrutinization of information is actually what crucial for educators if they actually want to understand the complexities within various educational institutions and practices. So in our objective 3, we are going to be discussing about understand the use of philosophical method in studying educational data. Thank you. Have a good day. My name still remains Big Badan Azmi, your favorite tutor. I wish you the best.